working to improve communities and making Chicago safer. I'm Peter Carl, and this is Chicago Crime Watch. One of the most effective ways to create safer communities is to build more block clubs. And CAPS is kicking off an ambitious drive to do just that, creating 1,000 block clubs by this summer.
Today is about reclaiming and rebuilding our neighborhoods. I want to say that again. I seem like I got an amen over here. It's about reclaiming and restoring our neighborhoods.
On a cold midwinter morning, hundreds of Chicagoans gather at McCormick Place to attend Mayor Daley's Block Club University. It's a partnership between the Chicago Police Department, CAPS, and the City Colleges of Chicago.
We've gathered here today because block clubs represent what's good and what's best about our city. We've gathered because block clubs represent the power of what happens when we stick together. And then lastly, block clubs represent the bright light of our city.
At this kickoff breakfast and training session, block club leaders, faith-based leaders, and elected officials hear how organizing a block club can have a major impact on the quality of life in their community. Keynote speaker, civil rights activist Reverend Dr. Joseph Lowery calls on the audience to work for the common good.
Your job is to be the moral conscience of whatever your group is, your block, your neighborhood, your city, your nation. Be the moral conscience and always push. You know, that's what your conscience is. Your conscience is that little chaplain God put in you to nudge you toward what's right. So I'm going to call you to be chaplains of the common good.
Chicago is a national leader in creating block clubs. Chicago is also a national leader in crime reduction. An impassioned Mayor Daley says the link between those two facts is no coincidence.
That's why the Block University is important, to tell people that drug dealers and gangbangers are not going to take your child or grandchild or your children on your block. I am standing up to that 15-year-old punk. I'm standing up to that 22-year-old who lives in a suburbs area or outside your community. This is my block. I've invested in my home. This is my American dream.
Our block club is great. It's wonderful. It gets everybody involved. And it's also very well established with our CAPS.
I think that it's important for people to get involved, to know what's going on in their communities. There are a lot of resources that are available to the people that they are not aware of. And I think that as a block club president, it's important for me to share that information and get that information out.
After breakfast, participants take part in workshops where they learn how to start or expand a block club. Block clubs focus on neighborhood issues, from crime and violence to education and the environment.
We come together to do fundraisers. We come together to contribute to the community, to homeless shelters, to battered women's shelters. We, of course, have social activities.
Bright Star is a community church. What we did was we localized it there at the church, but it's not a church organization. We spread out throughout the entire community. Although our pastor is a pastor of a church, we don't keep it right there at the church. All of our organizations, all of our facilities are totally open to the community at any time. So whether it comes into crisis intervention, mentorship for young men, things of that nature, that's what we're all about.
Mayor Daley says while block clubs provide needed services, they foster safer communities.
Prevention is 99% of these block clubs. That's what they have to do. It's prevention. We want to know every person on that block, so they know strangers are coming on the block, what's happening on the block. And so the police, community relations, and everyone can work together.
We cannot police away any problem. It's got to be a team effort. We need the eyes and the ears of the community and the community leaders to let us know where the crime is. We can't respond unless we know, so we need that intelligence coming in.
I think it's a good beginning because it begins right where people live, and they have common problems on their blocks and in their neighborhood. And if police and people can come together, mutual trust to serve the common good.
For Mercedes Rosales, this is a day to collect information. She's never been part of a block club, but after hearing about the benefits, she's now anxious to take the information back to her neighborhood and get a block club started.
I want to help. I want to be part of my community and help my children and help the children of my neighbors.
We'll be following the progress of the Block Club campaign, and in future episodes we'll show you how core teams from each police district are working to grow block clubs. If you want information on creating block clubs in your community, call 311. In every Chicago community, on blocks across the city, there are countless individuals working hard to make our community safe. What can we learn from these special Chicagoans? What can they teach us about the importance of commitment? Today, we look at the Back of the Yards community through the eyes of police officer Eric Weir.
I decided to become a police officer when I was 18 years old because I wanted to serve the public. I was injured while I was doing a surveillance for narcotics in a playground. I went to a doctor where a cast was put on my leg and the cast was put on too tight and I had complications from the cast. I was placed on permanent and total disability because I was unable to walk and perform my duties as a police officer. The thing that I loved to do was all taken away from me in just a matter of minutes from a mistake, and that I wouldn't be able to do what I love to do. After I had a surgery and I was laying in bed, and my son crawled up on the bed and asked, "Daddy, when are you gonna go back to work as a Chicago police officer?" I told him I would do everything in my powers to get back to work, and once I learned how to walk without the pain, I then taught myself how to slowly jog and then run. I was the first Chicago police officer in the history of the department to come back from permanent and total disability after being off for such a long time. I wanted to be out on the street, working with the people, doing what I did before I got hurt. When I'm driving through the area, I look at the people and I see people that are in the same situation that I was once in. They need help and I'm here to help them. When I'm working and I see gang members out on the street, I stop them, I talk to them. I'm trying to give them the message to stop the gang violence that is going on, to let their guns down, to leave the kids go to school. I tell the mothers that we all have to work together, that we both have to work in a partnership to succeed within the community. I believe that I'm getting the neighborhoods talking to the police. I think that we're opening that gap of lack of communication between the police and the neighborhoods. I believe in my profession as a police officer. I believe that if one police officer takes that initial step to work with the community, another officer will see what that police officer is doing and will do the same. The result of all of us working together is that we will reduce crime and that we will create a safer neighborhood for the neighbors and ourselves.
Officer Weir says he's learned much from the community in his current role. In 5 years, his goal is to be a supervisor with his own tactical unit, a role that will allow him to teach others. That's the latest from the CrimeWatch News Team. I'm Peter Carl. Thanks for watching.